for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. Thunder Bay residents had the chance to travel back in time and experience history in two different ways today, as both Fort William Historical Park and the Oliver Papoonge Heritage Park open for their summer season. Jessica Clement stopped by both sites to find out what they have planned for the year.
The opening weekend at Fort William Historical Park saw families and friends come out to take tours and see everything the fort has to offer. The site will be open 7 days a week from 10 to 5 p.m. and offer scheduled guided tours throughout the day. Program manager Jason Bosch says the historical park is a great opportunity for visitors from all over the world to learn about Thunder Bay and Canada's history and the different cultures that are represented. He's expecting a large number of people to visit the fort for its 50th year and says they have a number of events planned.
Starting off with Canada Day, then we'll move into a really big rendezvous event celebrating our 50 years since the fort was first opened. Lots of music and activities for kids, different foods and culinary, things that people can participate in and taste. Then we'll be moving into our Anishinaabe-Kishigan event the third weekend in August. So there's lots going on this summer.
Bosch says this is the first summer following the pandemic that the fort has been able to hire a full contingent of student staff. Zachariah Leonardi just started at the fort as an Indigenous life interpreter and says he's excited about the upcoming summer season.
I can only imagine what everybody else who's been here for prior years and previously, but myself, I'm really excited just to be a part of it and just hearing about all the festivities, just to know that all these people from all over are just going to come here and, support and come look at this beautiful establishment. So that's really exciting.
Meanwhile, just down Highway 61, Oliver Papoonge Heritage Park also opened for the summer season. The park held a celebration that featured live music from local talent and numerous exhibits. There are 3 attractions featured in the park, including the Duke Hunt Museum, Russ's Garage, and the Village. Though it's possible that not every exhibit will be available this year, Assistant Curator Jim Mayo says there's still a lot to see and learn about, as well as many events planned for this summer.
We're trying to have more musicians come in. We've got a Kids Day coming up and Family Day coming up. The one big event that we're working towards for July the 8th is our Classic Day, and we're going to have classic rock band. I think they're called Straight Up Band, and we're going to have classic cars come out and a few other displays that day as well.
More information about the park's schedule and future events can be found on their website. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Local MPP Lise Vaugeois challenged the Ford government at Queen's Park this week about long wait lists for adults with development disabilities. The NDP critic for seniors and people with disabilities referenced a class action lawsuit which accuses the province of harm causing negligence.
I learned today that adults with developmental disabilities have brought a class action suit against the government. The complaint is about the negligent operation of a social assistance system that has approved the delivery of much-needed support and services, but then fails to follow up. Can the government tell us really when people can expect to have the services delivered? 8 years is far too long for a family to be waiting to receive supports.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with the member. It wasn't right. It wasn't enough, which is why we're improving the system, which is why we increased funding, which is why we're working across government to make sure that the services that the families rely on is there. If you look at the programs that we have, Mr. Speaker, for example, Journey to Belonging that we have put forward, we are making sure that the services that people rely on are there for them when they need them, Mr. Speaker. And that's by making sure that the funding that's required is there in place for them. That's just the way that we've been working since we formed government. We had to look at a redesigning a system that was left neglected by the previous government. And unfortunately, throughout their time, your party supported them. You didn't do anything about it.
Meanwhile, the Ford Conservatives voted down the NDP's Bill 101 on Thursday. The bill was aimed at establishing an advocate for older adults and was co-sponsored by Vaugeois and fellow NDP member Laura May Lindo. Vaugeois says she's extremely disappointed the government said no to seniors by saying no to Bill 101. As the summer months approach, there is growing concern from hospital executives around the region that they won't be able to keep emergency departments open, not unless the province comes through with new funding. Lee Noonan has more.
Northwestern Ontario hospitals largely managed to avert ER closures last summer with only a handful of brief shutdowns throughout the region. The COVID-19 temporary summer locum program was one tool that helped keep the doors open, making it easier to attract doctors from Southern Ontario to cover short-term contracts. But that program ended on March 31st.
I could see hospitals in the Northwestern Ontario area and across Ontario facing closures, facing shutdowns.
You know, there may be some closures over the summer for all of us if some kind of funding isn't realized.
I mean, we're probably even more stretched this year than we were last year, and last year was a year that we didn't even think we'd get through without facing closure. I would almost call it a miracle of perseverance by our physicians.
The funding had allowed hospitals to get creative in attracting locums to rural northern hospitals. Without it, hospital executives don't see how they'll avoid ER closures.
If I was a physician, I don't think I'd come up north without that funding. I would stay where I work currently, and we need that funding to be able to get physicians to come up north and help us out for the summer.
The summer months are particularly crucial as staff physicians book off some much-needed vacation.
We're not dealing with robots, we're dealing with people, real life people that need a work-life balance. They've sacrificed for so long for so many things, and we really need to pay them back, and we need to recognize what they're doing.
They hate to be the one to say, oh, we're going to have to close Emerge because I'm tired and I need to stay home. But guess what? They're going to get tired and they're going to need to stay home.
Hospital executives say they've been promised something will replace the locum funding, but it hasn't come yet. And it's already needed. At Lake of the Woods District Hospital in Kenora, they've been continuing to pay the locum incentives out of pocket.
Because we weren't doing that, we already would have had faced closure. And we don't want to close. So we're doing it in a good faith because we know we've been told that these things are being negotiated. And we expect that they will be put in place.
The Ministry of Health did not respond to our requests for comments, but all three CEOs we spoke to said they're hoping the province will come through soon. With the region's hospitals located hundreds of kilometers apart, they're keenly aware of the potential impact of any closure, and they all praise their staff and their colleagues for the Herculean effort that's been made to keep Northwestern Ontario's hospitals open. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Marathon's Pebble Beach is getting a facelift as the town held a groundbreaking ceremony on Monday for the $1.35 million development project. The site will be closed for the summer with construction expected to be complete by November. Major upgrades are on the way for the infrastructure around the beach, though the area's natural beauty could not be improved upon. A popular destination for walking or taking in a sunset, the project will create new terraced viewing platforms and a boardwalk, as well as accessible walkways, washrooms, and parking. Mayor Rick Dumas calls Pebble Beach a golden gem in the community.
It is $1 million view, and we see the waves and the wave action in the lake itself, the sunset. So it really is something we just want to enhance in our community, and we're looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming.
You know, we're being mindful of the landscape and you know, ensuring that we embrace the beauty of Lake Superior. And what we're focusing on is a boardwalk with a terrace so people can actually get out of their vehicle, take a walk around the facility, be at a lower terrace than the vehicles parked, so there's no interference with the viewing of Lake Superior and its surrounding landscape.
The new pathways will connect with the Group of 7 path system and the Trans-Canada Trail, allowing hikers in the region to enjoy the beach. The project did have to be slightly scaled down, however, as costs increased dramatically during the pandemic, but the town does hope to continue developing the facilities around Pebble Beach in the future. A group of Indigenous students at St. Patrick High School are wrapping up an entrepreneurship class. It sees them put in hard work to create their own business ideas, helping them build lifelong skills in whatever they pursue. The business ideas are in a number of areas, including clothing, sports, and more. The students even had a chance to speak to a local business owner about their ideas and received important feedback they can take with them regardless of what career path they choose. The majority of students were hoping their ideas could help the community, deciding to make their businesses non-profit. That includes Drayton Drake, who wanted to ensure every kid had access to organized sports.
There's people out there who aren't as lucky as other people. Like, they might not have as much money as other people do. Like, I can personally relate to this because I've grown up as a foster child, so like I could have gotten into sports, but it would be with other people's tax money, and I never felt good about doing that.
Number one is confidence. I think they're more likely to talk in front of other people. I think when we do our presentations at the end of the year, they're kind of excited for it now, whereas I think before that might have been something that would have been difficult.
St. Patrick High School has been running the program for more than 5 years. We're now joined